Hi, welcome to another session in this series. We are going to be looking at how to handle rows and columns inside a Power Query editor in Power BI. So let us import our data. We are going to be using a tab separated values. We have to be patient as the data is being imported. So text, so TSV data, and then so we will transform the data so that we can have access to the Power Query editor. Good. Now that we have our data sets, we can see that we have our header rows here. So the Power Query editor has been able to make our header rows to be the header in this particular view. So the first thing we want to do is let us look at each of these columns. So if I click here, I click here, I can work on each of these columns. You can see that there are filters automatically. So if I click on this filter here, you can see I can easily filter on this data set. And you can see how we can also sort both in ascending or descending. And you can look at this place. If I have empty cells or empty cells in this particular column, I can remove it. So these are the options available at the column level. So okay, and then if I want to delete this particular column, I can just come here. You can see remove column. So I can just click here and remove the column. So let me say I want to remove the column. I click on it, you can see that that column has been removed. But the beauty with Power Query Editor is that every action I take is recorded inside this apply step box. So that if I want to undo it, I will just cancel it. So if I cancel here, you can see that we are back. So assuming we have so many columns, you can see we have so many columns here, and I only want to work on 4 columns. I can just come here, you can see this place, choose columns. If I click on it, it says choose columns. I click on it, it has given me all the columns. So I can just select everything. So I want 4. I want full name, I want gender, I want country name, and I want the other amounts. Or let's say we want the freight charges. So and then I click OK. So you can see that we only have 4. So if I apply this now, if I say close and apply, so let us be patient as it is applying the changes. So it has taken everything in. So if you look at this particular table here, if I click on it, you can see that there are only 4 columns inside here. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see now. So we have been able to use the Power Query editor to choose only the columns that we have. So instead of you deleting columns over and over again, you can just use that method. Out of several columns that you import into the Power BI, you can just take few and use for your analysis. So if I come to the table view, you can see this is my table here, and you can see there are only 4 of these. You can see now. Now, the beauty of this is that if I go back to the and I go back to the query editor, you can see that we are still back to the same place. So if I remove this now, you can see that I have all of my columns again. And if I apply this now, you can see that the table now contains everything. And if I go to the table view, you can see the table contains everything. So Power Query Editor makes data cleaning and transformation very easy in Power BI. It is very powerful. It is one of those reasons why Power BI is a very powerful tool in the data analysis ecosystem as of today. Then let's continue with our Power Query journey. So let's go back by clicking on that, and then we look at another thing we can do. So we can work with rows. So let's look at working with rows. If I click on this, you can see keep top rows. Assuming I want to keep the top 10 rows, I can just click keep top rows, and then I click on 10, that is 10, and then I click OK. You can see we have only the 10 rows. So let me cancel that out. If I want to keep the bottom rows, the same thing. We can also keep range of rows. So if you keep range of rows, you can see keep range of rows. And from here, the fourth row. So we want to start from 10. So this is 10. This is Harry Bloomberg. And number of rows that we want to keep, 5. So from 10 to 14, that is 5. So we click on 5. So starting from Harry Bloomberg to Elizabeth Turner. So if we click on this, you can see we have that. And then we can also remove rows. If I click on remove rows, you see remove top rows, remove bottom rows, and remove duplicate. So if we have duplicate in our data, we can just click here to automatically remove duplicates. If we have blank rows, we can click here to automatically remove blank rows. If we have some errors, we can do the same. So if we want to remove alternate rows, probably we want to sample our data, can just click on this and it will remove alternate row, making it look like a sample. So let's use remove top rows. Remove top row, let's say 5. The 5 row, top 5, and click so we click OK. And then you can see it has removed the top 5. Good. Before we go, we are going to look at another important factor, which is splitting our column. So look at this here, we call it split column. So how do we use this? Assume you can see that we have full name, which is a combination of first name and last name. Assuming we want to split this into two, how do we go about it? We use this method here. So we click on it. So we can say split by delimiter, split by numbers of character, split by position, lowercase, uppercase. You can see different ways through which we can split. So in this case, we are going to split by delimiter. And so we click by it, and you can see that in this particular column, the delimiter is underscore. And you can see that the application has discovered that underscore by itself. So you can see split at leftmost delimiter. So this is important when we have more than one delimiter, or rightmost delimiter, or at each occurrence of the delimiter. Because we have only one delimiter here, I will split at each occurrence of the delimiter. So as you practice this on your own, you will get how this works perfectly. So we click OK, and then you can see that now we have full name 1, and then we have full name 2. So I can just click on this, I can double click on this and call this first name. and then click on this tool and call it last name, and there we go. So these are few of the tasks that we can perform on our rows and columns with Power BI Query Editor. As we continue in this course, we will start seeing so many things that we can do with this particular application. Thank you very much until we meet in the next one.